Greetings folks, and I hope there's nothing wrong with Wolfie wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel. So as you may or may not know, Hot Toys recently dropped their 2.0 version of Robert Patrick, aka the T1000 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and there's a full review of that figure up on the channel if you wanted to see it in a little bit more detail. But what we're going to be doing today is a side-by-side comparison with Hot Toys' original release of the T1000 from way back in 2009. We'll find out if the original stands up against the 2.0 version, what changes and improvements Hot Toys have made, if they have anything in common, if at all. But before we dive in, I'd like to send the usual shout out to everyone who supported the channel. Your support is what keeps this old collector going, and please drop a like on this video as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the reviews, previews, news and other 1/6 scale stuff that we've got coming up. So without further ado, let's dive in and find out if these two square up against each other or not. So folks, in time-honoured Go Figure tradition, I thought we'd start with the accessories, because there is a shit ton of accessories with both of these figures. Don't worry, we're not going to look at all of them. That would literally take days to compare and contrast all of these accessories. But there are some notable differences and exceptions which we will take a look at. We'll zip through some of the just some of the bits and pieces at random, the clothing, the head sculpt, stuff like that. We'll start with the hands. Actually, you get a lot more hands with the 2.0 version. You get the two spiked hands, whereas you only get the one with the original. But we'll have a quick look, and you should probably come to expect from the time gap between these two figures. As you can see here, the sculpting and paint applications on these hands in the new version is far superior. The one on the right is quite flat. There's no reddening on the knuckles. There's no bone detailing particularly. There is a little bit of bone structure, but not much. There's no veining like you see in the one on the left there, and also that spike. The way it's actually been painted, although it's not as sharp on the right, I'd like to have seen it as sharp as the right one. The gradient and the silver paintwork on the finger into that knuckle area, I think is far superior. However, as I say, I would have liked to have seen this one on the left here with more of a point. But overall, I think the hands, as we'd come to expect from the time difference between these two pieces, is far superior on the new one, and you get slightly more with the new figure as well. So we'll pop the hands back. We won't look at the liquid metal bullet effects. They are exactly the same. They come from the same mold. The paint applications are identical, magnetically attached, and the same number as well. You get two doubles, two large singles and three small singles. You also get a set of handcuffs. I don't have the handcuffs for the original version to hand, unfortunately, but they are pretty much identical: metal chain and plastic working cuffs. We'll take a look at the spike sections because there is a noticeable difference in the paintwork here. Now, the original, the one on the right here, is slightly lighter. To me, it looks like they've used the same mold, and on close inspection of the actual creasing effect at the bottom there, you can see, yeah, they've come from the same mold. So Hot Toys have reused the molds here, which is understandable because you know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. The only real difference I can spot here is that the new version is slightly less metallic. That's the one on the left. Slightly a darker shade of silver on the one on the left. And as with the pointy finger, I think I prefer the one on the right. So yeah, and that's the same with the double hook hands claws as well. Helmets. Now, helmets are identical as well. I've checked this one out. Now, the one on the right here doesn't have the strap, and there's a reason for that. I was struggling to attach it to his head with the strap. And on closer inspection, yeah, you're looking at two identical helmets here. There's no real change in the sculpt or the paint applications or anything like that, and the way it functions is pretty much identical as well on both of these with that snap section. Although I have noticed that in my original one, and I've mentioned this in my full review, I had issues putting the sunglasses on. I've not attempted to attach this to the head sculpt with the sunglasses on as of yet, because This one, the new one, for some reason doesn't want to detach on the bottom. Now, those who own this figure know that the black section at the bottom there detaches. You attach that to the neck, then you put the glasses on, then you put the top of the helmet on. It's a finicky process, and it resulted in me actually breaking the sunglasses, so I'm a little bit loath to do it. Yeah, pretty much identical helmets there. What else is identical? The weaponry. Let's have a quick look at the weaponry. The MP5, pretty much an identical mold going on here. The only real difference is that detailing in the around the safety there with the writing. So I'm assuming they've used the same mold, just slightly different paint applications. So yeah, identical weaponry. The utility belts we will take a look at, but before we get to those, you do both get 2 cotton pairs of socks if you're wanting to use the dress shoes. Actually, let's take a look at the utility belts now. Let's bring these front and center. Now, these, once again, pretty much identical. You've got a pleather belt with the pouches on there, the plastic pouches. This is the original that we're looking at here. It's got the walkie-talkie in there. There's spaces for the extra clips, for the Beretta, a space for the handcuffs, and a space for the gun itself. And you put that up against the new one, and yeah, pretty much identical. I would have liked to have seen the new one be a leather belt. I'm pretty certain this is pleather. Now, the original's standing up well over time. However, it will deteriorate eventually, so it would have been nice to see pleather, but pretty much these are identical. The only issue I have with the original is that this hole here where the flashlight's supposed to go is too small, so you can't attach the flashlight. So yeah, utility belts pretty much identical, bullet effects identical. Let's take a look at the sunglasses, because I think this is quite important. Now, you've got to bear in mind the glasses on my original, as I mentioned, were broken. So you'll spot the glue there on one of the arms there, and that was down to how that helmet attaches, which is why I'm loath to put the new ones on. Now, I've got to say, for screen accuracy, and I'll pop a picture up in the left-hand corner at this point, the sunglasses that Robert Patrick wore when he was in the motorcycle cop outfit were mirrored. And these ones on the left, to me, aren't. They've got a shine to them, but they're more of sort of a dark grey than this mirrored effect that you get on the right-hand side. So, all said and done, I am preferring these glasses to these glasses. I prefer that mirrored look. I think it's more screen accurate, but that's personal taste. Well, it's not personal taste, it is actually more screen accurate. So that's the glasses. Clothing, let's take a look at the extra clothing. Now, you do get the full motorcycle cop outfit with both of these figures, and they in their blurb, Hot Toys say that this is a completely new jacket. The one on the right, it's been completely the one on the left has been completely redone, and it does feel like a slightly better quality material. It's softer to the touch. The one on the right, the 2009, is a little bit harsher. You've got visible buttons on this one, which you don't have on the new one. But on the inside, the lining is pretty much identical. This one's more of a cotton material, whereas this is a man-made fibre on the new one. And the colouring. Now, I don't know whether the camera's catching this in this light. There is a very subtle colour difference here. Now, it's not this could be down to age, to be perfectly honest with you, but yeah, slightly lighter, the old one. You get the badge on the original and the new one. It says 572 on there. It's slightly more HD, and I'll try and get these both into camera. It's difficult to manipulate them both, but we'll get them both as close as I possibly can. And yeah, I would say the new one is slightly more HD, although they have used more paint applications on the old one. There's greens in there as well as those sort of bronze and silvers. So overall, yeah, it's a tough call, this one. We take a look at the arms now. One noticeable improvement here for me is the attachment of the badges on the side there. You've got this sort of arrow in a circle, and then you've got the police badge itself. Now, there's clearly glue where these have been glued on, and they've not been particularly well glued on. It looks like on these new ones there may have been a different solution here. I'm not sure how they've been attached, but overall I prefer the new version on both sides as well. Let's take a look at it on this side as well. Yeah, it just looks more HD and better attached. So yeah, that's the jackets. We'll put those back. I'll try not to get them mixed up, and it's easily done. You also get the pants that go with the motorcycle cop outfit. And this is where you really, if the light's catching this, can see that change in shade. Old ones on the right, new ones on the left. Obviously now, and this is the same with the uniform on this figure. The ones on the left, the full uniform is it's a richer, deeper, more royal blue, whereas the one on the right, the 2009, although it's a blue, it has that more sort of a slate grey effect. But overall, the stitch work on both is fine, very well done. The fall, the fit, the finish, you've got to remember these are a lot older, is exactly the same, and they've both got that Velcro fastening. Really, the only real difference here is the colour. So that's the pants. You do get a set of swap out boots with the 2.0 version, which we mentioned in the review, which you don't get with the original, and it's these sort of reconstitution boots, as I like to call them. This is where he's melted, or he's partially melted, stuck to the floor. He's pulling himself back together, literally. You've got that metal grid effect going on there, and sort of a liquid effect around the sole area. Some nice spray painting going on there, some silver spray painting. Don't get those with the original. You get dress shoes with both. Well, let's have a quick look at those. We'll take one of each, actually, that'll be a lot easier. So the new shoes, straight away, far shinier, far glossier, and a slightly better sculpt, I have to say, as well, and a different style. I'll have to go back and revisit the film, actually, see if I can't spot his shoes. More Oxford-esque, more pointy on the left, more, I don't know, work shoe-man-like, if that's a word, on the right-hand side. But they've both got stitched, they've got sculpted in stitching there. I think there's soles on both of these. No, sole on the new one, but not on the old one, and they're both attached by a peg. So probably in the balance of things, I'm preferring the new ones because I like that shiny look. But yeah, two pairs there. What else? Probably the most important thing are the swap out head sculpts before we take a look at the bases and the figures. So, because this is a real acid test here. So, with the new one, you get the bullet wound in the right eye look, which I really like. I think it's fantastic. I gushed about this head sculpt in the original review. With the 2009 version, we get the split down the middle head sculpt, and really now the years start to show a huge difference when you get up close with these two. First of all, and I'm going to mention this, it's the scale. You'll probably notice straight away, the proportions on the one on the right are slightly smaller now. I noticed this, having collected Hot Toys for a number of years, some of their older figures were slightly smaller. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. The Bruce Lee figures, the DX Bruce Lee figures, the scale was slightly smaller, and they've grown over the years, and this is evident here when you take a look at these head sculpts, and you'll see that in the figures when we bring the two figures out for a close-up look. But here we really start to see the difference in sculpting and how sculpting technology and paint applications have come on in the years. Now, the sculpt on the right is not a bad sculpt. I think it's most certainly Robert Patrick, it's most certainly the T1000. However, well, we have a look at the hair straight away. The hair is far more HD on the 2.0 version. You can see individual strands in there, whereas it's a lot simpler, the sculpt on the one on the right. There's more tonal changes with the paint applications on the one on the right. It looks more natural, and it flows better. Then we can talk about these skin tones and texturing. The sculpt on the new one, far superior, far more skin-like, far more flesh-like. There's more paint applications, there's more tonal change, far more of a matte colour on the 2009 version. And also fair to mention at this point as well is the colour itself. Now, to me, the one on the right here, the 2009 version, is way too tanned. That is not the colour that Robert Patrick was in the movie. He did have a pale complexion for the film. He was quite ashen, and it was sort of a signature look for the T1000. Whereas here, Hot Toys, I think, got completely the wrong colour, skin tone colour. It's a much more basic sculpt, the one on the right. The eyes are far less natural, far less glassy. and obviously they're fixed, they don't have the PERS system. And also the wound itself, if you look at the complexity of the paint applications in the wound, on the right here, it's very simple, one sort of matte silver paint application. Whereas with the new version, all those ripples are there, all the distortion around the face after the impact. Overall, yeah, it's a country mile ahead, this head sculpt. So hands down, it's a winner to the version 2.0. So that's the accessories, folks. So I think what we need to do now is get up close with the figures themselves and find out what the years have done to the original T1000. Okay folks, so 16 years between them, it's time for a face-off between the old T1000 and the new T1000. Let's start with those bases first of all. Now, yeah, I've got to say, I was never a huge fan of the original little oval that Hot Toys gave us, and I know it's got a huge following. This is personal taste, but it's very simplistic, just a simple plastic oval with the T1000 on the nameplate and Terminator 2 Judgment Day across the top there. Hot Toys have gone all in with the 2.0 version, and it shows. I'm loving this diorama base. I am not normally one for light up features, as regulars to the channel will know, but I think this works really, really well. USB-C connection, metal nameplate on the front, loving those railings at the back there, and the detailing, those metal chains, and just the overall impact of that diorama base is great. And I'm pretty certain they're going to be continuing this through with the new Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator figure that they're giving us. The first thing, and I'll pull back for this, the first thing, and I mentioned this in the accessories section, that you'll notice here is the scale difference. Now, it's not vast, and yes, I will give you that the new figure is standing a few centimeters taller because of those bases. However, side by side, there is a very subtle scale difference. As we mentioned, Hot Toys figures have grown over the years. And what this does is, to me, it impacts the proportions. I think the proportions look far, far better on the 2.0 version. Yes, Mr. Patrick was a slim guy, the T1000 had a slim build. That is reflected in both figures, but I think it's just more accurate on the new one. Another thing that sort of comes into play as well when you're talking about this scale reduction is the actual hands are the same size on both of these figures. We've gone for this similar pose it gives us the best opportunity to compare and contrast. Now, the hands far, far bigger, or the same size as the 2.0 version on the original. Now, with that scaling situation that Hot Toys have of slightly decreased size, the hands on the old one look goofy, they look off. And that's all of them. They all look slightly too big for the figure. Don't know whether the camera's catching that there, but especially on that gun holding hand, they just look slightly too big and look goofy in the display. Not too bad when you've got the motorcycle jacket on. That sort of takes the edge off it a little bit. But overall, yeah, it still looks goofy. And talking of the motorcycle jacket, which they both have, we didn't mention this in the accessories. It is still a complete pain in the backside trying to fasten the zip, the 6-scale zip, on that motorcycle jacket on either of the figures. Even though this one is slightly smaller, it is a real nightmare to get it on and off. But that's just the nature of 6-scale zips. So next thing on the list of differences here is that colour that we talked about when we were looking at the motorcycle cop outfit on the original version. Now, as you can see here, the colour really, and I'll try and get these lights to, just move these lights in a little bit. It is a more royal blue going on here, a deeper, more royal blue, whereas on the original you've got that more sort of slate grey blue, if that makes sense. I'll pop a picture up in the top corner here. I think the 2.0 version is more screen accurate. I think that colour is definitely more on point than the old version. Yes, you could say that the original has aged. I don't display any of my figures anywhere near any sunlight, so I can't see how that's faded, but time will impact the dyes used in the materials in these figures. However, I think the coloration in this one is more like Michael Myers overalls. I think this is far more screen accurate, that deep royal blue. So yeah, scale and proportions wise, the new version's got it beaten. Colour wise in the outfit, it's most certainly got it beaten, and most certainly that diorama base is a country mile ahead of what Hot Toys gave us originally. on to the all-important head sculpt. Now, as with the swap-out head sculpts, the paint applications and on the original are very, very matte, and they are too tanned, as we spoke about before. But the major difference here for me is the sculpt. Okay, the paint applications have improved, but the sculpt here, I think this is off. I've always thought it was off. I got this when it was originally released, and was really impressed with it. But that's a long time ago, and yeah, it's not Robert Patrick to me. There's something off. I don't know whether it's the eyes. I think it's mainly in the eyes here. It's mainly in the eyes and the paint application. That nose is way too pointy and not splayed enough. The eyes themselves, they're never going to be as glassy because of its age, but the eyes are too sharp, if that makes any sense. Those eyebrows are slightly too arched, and just the overall sculpt itself is nowhere near as good as the original. We've talked about the paint applications on the hair and on those skin tones. This one, yeah, to me, far, far superior. Eyes are nice and glassy, the skin colour is correct, the tones are better. Is it 100% Robert Patrick? No, I think there are certain angles there where it can look ever so slightly off, but compared to the original, it is a clear winner, as is the swap out head sculpt as well. So there you have it, folks. That's both of these figures side by side, and to me, there's a clear winner, but I think we need to go in for a final verdict, so let's get them both tooled up and pass the decision. Okay, folks, so it's verdict time on the T1000s with 16 years apart, and I think you know which way this is going. It's almost inevitable. Pretty much in every single department, the 2.0 version beats the original, in my opinion. Everything from the fantastic diorama base with the light-up features, the proportions most certainly I think are better in the new version. Slightly too small, this guy, slightly too slim. The coloration of the uniform I think is better and more screen accurate in the new version. The uniform itself is better tailored, better quality materials and slightly better put together. The head sculpts, we've talked about those head sculpts now. You really can see how far sculpting and paint applications have come in the 6 scale world if you put those two head sculpts next to each other. They are a country mile apart. Yes, that's not to say that the new version, the 2.0 version, is perfect. It isn't, I don't think. I think it's close, but no 100% there, but it is a country mile ahead of the original, and this is why I tend to display this figure in the motorcycle cop garb with the helmet on and the sunglasses on, simply because I think it covers up that head sculpt. And at the time, let's pay Hot Toys their dues. In 2009, this was an outstanding figure. However, we are no longer in 2009, and what Hot Toys have given us here is something far, far superior, in my opinion, in just about every department. There's only a couple of little areas really where the original, I think, pips it for screen accuracy, and one of those is those mirrored glasses. I think they should have given us mirror glasses with this version. But apart from that, it's a clear, hands down knockout to the 2.0 version, which is not without its faults. I didn't give this a 10 when I reviewed it. There are some niggles there, there are some areas for improvement, but I always think there are areas for improvement. However, that's not to say the original is a bad figure. I think it's a cracking figure, it's a great figure, it displays fantastically well, and I think it is a great T1000 figure, just not on the same level as the 2.0 version. So there you have it, folks. That's the two T1000s from Hot Toys. What are your thoughts on these pieces? What are your thoughts on the 2.0 version? What are your thoughts on the original? What are your thoughts on the movie? What are your thoughts on anything at all? Please drop a comment in the comment section below. Nothing is off menu, and I would be fascinated to hear your take on this. So what have we got coming up on the channel? Well, there's a boatload more new 1/6 scale figure reviews. We've got stuff coming in from Hot Toys, Susu Toys, Present Toys, In Art, Caustic Plastic, Iconic Studios, Exo6, the list goes on, as always. So yeah, we've got retro reviews, we've got showcases, we've got a new tour video coming up very, very soon. Keep banging on about this, but it is currently in production. Stay tuned for that, because we've had a raft of new figures coming over the past few months, so a new tour video is in order. So as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the 1/6 scale goodness we've got coming up. And I suppose all it remains for me to say, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been useful for you. From myself, from the two T1000s, as always, take care of yourselves, and until next time on the channel, happy collecting.